Alright, we are going to look at how to do lab number 6. This is using a couple advanced modeling techniques here. The key ones to know for this one are how to create different construction planes and how to do a loft or a sweep. In this case it's going to be a loft. The difference between a loft and a sweep will make a shape along a path. A loft is used to connect different shapes together. So in this case here, we want to create a connection along a path, but we're going from a rectangular shape to a round shape. So this is a loft as opposed to a sweep because it connects a rectangular shape to a round shape. So we generate that automatically, and we basically define a path, and we define what our beginning shape is and our ending shape. And this is actually pretty easy to do once you know how to do it. So let's show the couple of tricks that we are going to have to know to be able to do this. So let's bring this up. Let's bring up Fusion. We're not going to do this in full detail, but what we will do is draw the arc shape, which is the path we're going to follow, and we will draw the rectangular shape over here and the round shape over here, and then we'll connect the two together. You should be able to figure out how to do the rest of these faces on your own and extrude them, because that's basically things we've already done. Alright, so let's get to this. We have an arc that has a radius of 120, and that looks to be a 90-degree arc. So let's start by drawing that. So we're going to come in from the top plane, create a sketch on the top plane. Lots of different ways you could draw an arc. I am going to do it by using the arc tool, a center point arc. I'm going to do this at the origin. We said it was a 120 radius. And then the end point, how many degrees is it? 90 degrees. And we do that. So that is our 120 arc, 90 degrees, and I'm going to select this line. Make that a center line. No, we'll just leave that as construction line. And I'm going to finish this sketch. That is my very first sketch. So it is basically this arc right here. And now that is looking down from the top plane, I want to create two new construction planes, one right over here and one right over here. Construction planes, you can place them anywhere you want. We've done them with offsets already, but for this one, we're going to use this tool here that is a plane along a path. So we do this one, and what you'll see here, this is going to create a plane along that path line that we've created. And we can place this anywhere along this path line, and you'll see this little distance number here all the way at the end over here. That is a value of 1.0. Halfway through at 45 would be a value of 0.5. All the way over here would be a value of 0. So let's start over here, creating a plane, construction plane over here at 1. So let's create a new construction plane. So we now have a plane that's over here. And we are going to select that plane and create a sketch on that plane. So you can see the origin right now is actually at the center point of where that arc line is. That's that arc line right there. And we are going to place our stuff over here. So we're now basically working, this is what our construction plane looks like over here. So let's draw this rectangle shape. So it is a 70 by 80 rectangle with the corners rounded at 15. So let's just start off by putting some, I'm just going to draw some center lines on here. make those both center lines just for our own reference. I'll use those to make them as symmetries later. I'm just going to fix those in space as well so they don't move. So those are locked in. And now let's draw, what are my dimensions on this? 70 by 50 and 60 by 80. .50 by 70 and 60 by 80. Those are my two rectangles. And I know that this one is symmetrical across here. That was not supposed to move. That was supposed to be locked on there. And this one and this one. This one and this one are supposed to be symmetrical across there. This one and this one are supposed to be symmetrical across this. And this one and this one are supposed to be symmetrical across that as well. So I think that is the way that's supposed to work. All of these are rounded at 15. Okay, so that should be my shape. And if I look up here, you'll see that the center of that is basically on my arc. I'm going to finish that sketch, and we have that. Okay, that looks correct. Now, I'm going to make another construction plane. So again, construction along a path. We're going to swing over here to 0. Do this. I'm going to select that and create a sketch on this plane. And this one is just circles. I have an outside diameter of 46, and I know that my inside diameter, to match up with the wall thickness here is 5, or the inside is 10 less than this one, so the inside of this one has a diameter of 36, so 10 millimeters less than the outside, because the difference between these ones is 10 millimeters as well. So I'm going to make two circles, 46 and 36. And also 36. And that should be that. So again, if you were drawing this for the actual lab, you would draw all the rest of the details on here and be extruding those pieces, but this is basically what we want. So we've got a rectangular shape here, a circular shape here, and what we want to do is do a sweep or a loft shape between these two, because it is a rectangle going to a circle. This is going to be a loft. So the way that we do this, we are going to select the loft tool, and we get a bunch of options here. What we want to select first is what shape do we want to go from. So we want to go from this solid here. We select that profile, and then we want to go to this solid over here. So we select that profile, and you see that it will just connect these two together. So we go from this solid round to this solid rectangular over here. Now it just goes direct line between the two. So what we can do, this is going with the rail type, so it's just connecting from edges to edges. If we want to follow a specific path, we select this option here, which is called center line, and now what we can do is select a path that we want to go between. So we're going to select this line that we drew, and it basically selects that as the center line of the path that it's using, and we say OK, and we can look at this, and that is basically the object that we want. Now the problem is this is a solid object and not hollow. So how do we make this hollow? So the answer to that is we are going to do another loft for the inside portion. So this just created a new body for the outside, but now we want to create another loft, and I'm going to bring back up my sketches here, make all my sketches visible, and we're going to create a second loft, but instead of creating it as a new body, it's going to create it as a cut. So I'm going to select this inside piece here and this inside piece here, and you can see now how that automatically selects it as a cut, shows it up in red because that says I'm going to cut away this feature from the first feature and basically make a cut between the two. And again, I'm going to select my center line, I'm going to cut along that center line and say OK. And what that did, it basically created a second feature inside the first one, but that's basically the hollowing out feature. And now we have a hollowed out portion. You can get up to a point here where you can see right through it. A hollowed out portion of that shape. Alright, so that is the general flow of what you would do to create that shape. So that is using the loft and using construction planes. We can do something very similar using a sweep, but remember, a sweep is only a sweep is a circle only. So if I basically said I'm going to make a polyline here, let's draw this. I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to create a construction plane along the path, and I'm going to go all the way to the end of this. And I'm going to create a sketch on this, and I'm going to create a circle here, a 20 mil circle, finish that sketch, and now I want to do a sweep along this path. I can create a sweep, My profile I have selected here is this one. My path is going to be this. I think some of my angles are too tight here. Let's go with a smaller circle. There, like that. So that basically creates a sweep along a path. So you're defining a path, you're creating the shape, and then it basically makes a solid of that shape along that path. So that is a sweep. So a sweep is basically just a shape and a path, whereas a loft is creating one shape joining to another shape along a path. So that is loft and sweep, and creating construction planes along a path.